Jeff Skinner is reportedly rumored to be bought out by the Buffalo Sabres. And is this an opportunity for the Flames to add some offense at a potentially cheap price?
You're Locked On Flames, your daily podcast on the Calgary Flames. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Locked On Flames. As always, I am your host, Jess Belmosto, and thank you so much for joining me here today. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply. Today, we are going to be talking about, obviously, Jeff Skinner potentially being bought out, more than likely being bought out by the Buffalo Sabres, and the Flames potentially scooping him up as a free agent. And we're going to wrap up the show with the Fanatics jersey reveal because it's something. It is something. But before we dive into all that, please make sure you are subscribed to Locked On Flames wherever you're getting your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. We are here for you Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, your team every day. So the Flames have the opportunity to do something kind of good, potentially. And that would be acquire Jeff Skinner through free agency after he is bought out by the Buffalo Sabres. And it's not like he is being bought out because he's bad. That is not the case. Jeff Skinner is still producing at 33 years old, but he's making like $9 million for the next few years. And he's, like I said, 33 years old. And that just does not fit into the Buffalo Sabres plan, which I don't really entirely know what their plan is. But once he is bought out, you can obviously sign him as a free agent. I don't know if Jeff Skinner is going to want to go to another non-contender. I don't think so at this point in his career. You know, he's got a few years left. I mean, he's 33. Talk about him like he's an aging old man, but that is hockey. It's just, it stinks, right? Because Jeff Skinner is so easy to love. He is so likable. He's so fun. They have the Between Two Stalls segment that really lets you get to know the players in Buffalo as well as Jeff Skinner, and it's a great way to like bring in the human element to the game. And buying out a player is a really risky thing because you're paying them not to work. Sometimes you can just kind of get away with like slapping them on LTIR and being like, okay. But this is a lot. It is very expensive to do. It, like, when you look at like Jonathan Huberdeau, it doesn't make sense to pay money over that long period of time and still have that dead cap on your books. It doesn't. Minnesota really kind of shot themselves in the foot too when they did it a few years ago. I think it was like 14 or 19 million dollars in dead cap space. So it's just more money tied up in something that's unnecessary. Jeff Skinner scored 24 goals and had 22 assists this past season, and he's obviously still a contributor. That's great. But not $9 million hairs contributor. And like the first thing that came to my mind here was Matt Duchene. Matt Duchene was also on a very bad contract in Nashville last summer. Nashville bought him out and he signed with Dallas in free agency and had one heck of a year. And sometimes you get lucky, with a buyout like that. I mean, you cannot predict what's going to happen. It's an opportunity, obviously, for that player to go elsewhere, um, and get signed for less expensive price. I don't hate the idea of potentially going this route, but I also have some objections to it as well. The Flames want offense, right? And obviously a 20 plus goal scorer on this team would be nice. The Flames think they can still, hang in there, hang with the top dogs, or even the fringe playoff dogs. And obviously, you need to score goals to win games, and Jeff Skinner can score goals and help you win games. It's truly just a matter of what you want and what kind of risk you're willing to take. Mike Riley was bought out last year and then signed on Long Island, signed with the Islanders. Matt Duchene, similar thing, 1-year deal. It's a low risk, high reward situation because you never know what might happen. Do I think Calgary is necessarily a place Jeff Skinner is going to want to go? No. I think that, like I said earlier, at this point in his career, he's probably going to want to go to a legitimate contender. Dallas could be a good spot for him too. Maybe he goes back to Carolina, maybe Nashville. I don't think either of the Florida teams really have money or space for him. Maybe the Kings. There are a few. The Bruins. There's obviously like a number of teams out there that fit what he may be looking for, and I think that this is something to keep a close eye on because that a team is not going to pass up on this opportunity. Anyways, coming up next, we're going to talk about why the Flames don't need Skinner and why it probably won't work out. But before we do that, we are going to take a quick break here, and I want to talk to you about an app that is going to make your summer so much better. And that would be the Game Time app. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seats, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. I'm looking forward to going to Yankee Stadium for the first time later this summer, and I will absolutely be taking advantage of Game Time because, number one, I've never been there, so I don't know what the view from my seat could look like. Number two, they have fantastic deals. Save even more when you choose a section and let Game Time choose the seats. Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference if you find prices lower than them. Take the guesswork out of buying Major League Baseball tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and use redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Thanks everyone for hanging out with me today on Locked On Flames. Thank you for making Locked On Flames part of your day. I hope you enjoy it. Whether this is your first time or you're a returning listener, I appreciate you and hope you stick around. Jeff Skinner will not be sticking around Buffalo. So why don't the Flames need him? Why don't the Flames need another veteran body? A 33-year-old who will be 34 this season. Why don't they need someone who can put up points consistently? Number one, I would say Calgary probably isn't on his radar right now. Had this been a few years ago, this might be a different story. I also just don't. I know that it's been reported that the Flames are going to be active during free agency, and Craig Conroy's made it a point that he's not going to be giving out long-term deals or anything like that. So, I mean, hey, at least you don't have to worry about that with any player, regardless of their age. But you also need to think about your lineup. The Flames have talked about wanting to get younger and faster and better for quite some time. And I don't know if adding a 33-year-old to your lineup is another 33-year-old or over 30 on the wrong side of 30 player to your roster is the way to approach this. Obviously veteran presence is great. There's a need for that. There's a need for that in every locker room. And I'm sure that Jeff Skinner would love to continue to be a leader. He's highly regarded in Buffalo and whatever organization he's with. Everyone that I have spoken to that has ever met Jeff Skinner, whether it's in a professional or non-casual setting, I guess, has only ever had nice things to say about him. So, bringing good energy into your locker room is a very good thing. I think when you think of players that have earned the reputation of being, kind of like, I guess like a negative Nelly, I think of Mike Hoffman. I think of Evander Kane. I think of, those two. They're the only ones that I can think of right now. But, some people might call them like coach killers, or they're rumored to be involved in this, or Mike Hoffman, his legacy isn't going to be hockey. It's going to be the nonsense him and his then fiance did in Ottawa. You don't want people like that on your team. The Flames have done a really good job of fumigating the room of bad vibes, and they need to continue to do that. Obviously, you're never going to be happy 100% of the time. That's fine. But you need to come in to the games, to the team, with a positive attitude. I think Jeff Skinner is one of those players. But I also think you have a lot of younger guys that you can bring in for cheaper. The Flames have cap space. Like that's not an argument. They definitely have cap space and an opportunity to pay players. But I don't think they necessarily need another Jeff Skinner. I think that this is an opportunity for the Flames to start integrating those younger players and continue to integrate those younger players, because we've talked about it for so long. Lucic, Trevor Lewis, Brett Ritchie, Nick Ritchie, who else used to be on that fourth line and just kind of take up a roster spot from, a young player. I think of, like when Sam Bennett got traded, things were weird. Things were very weird. This is early on in me covering the Flames, but like the vibes weren't right. And I think right now the Flames just like need to stick with what they know. And that means integrating those younger guys, giving them an opportunity, and maybe going out and grabbing a UFA come July 1st. I don't think that's unrealistic. Jake DeBrusk's name has been thrown in there quite a handful of times, and is that something that they do? They're not going to give him the 7-year deal that he could potentially be looking for. He needs, to, like Tyler Bertuzzi last year. He was looking for 5-year, like $5 million deal, and no one was giving that to him. They need to, like, all these players need to, like, rein in their expectations. And I hope that that's happened. I would feel a lot better about the long-term plan rather than just this, like, immediate future, if the Flames just integrated this younger talent. I think that, Pelletier has absolutely earned a shot at cracking the roster. Matt Coronado, who played really well with the Wranglers last year, but just needs to get that continuous, the reps in. He needs the repetition, and he can be an NHL player, in my opinion. I think that it really is just a matter of getting there and giving them the opportunity. And putting a guy like Jeff Skinner in the lineup takes that opportunity away from them. Goal is to get younger. Your captain is 34 years old. No shade to Backlund. I don't think it's a bad thing that he's older. He's played his whole career in Calgary. Like, do your thing, but you need to focus on adding younger players that you can, I don't want to say like plan long term around or build around, but that you can just inject into your lineup and that are NHL ready and are on the cusp of that. Gotta focus on staying younger. And there's enough veteran presence in this locker room right now where I don't think like, oh my God, they absolutely need to, add him like the Blackhawks did Nick Foligno last year. Or if it's the Sharks, I think they could use veteran presence. Or, New Jersey even could probably use a little bit more. But these are just my thoughts and opinions on that. And I would love to hear what you have to say and what you think about that as well, because obviously I'm not the one picking up any phones on July 1st, making any calls to sign anyone. They don't let me have that kind of power. It's probably a good thing. But coming up next, we are going to wrap up the show with some Fanatics jersey reveal and just kind of some thoughts on those because, well, we're entering a new era. And we will be right back after this break. I want to tell you all about eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience is the formula for winning championships, and it's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you are burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive today at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Thanks everyone for hanging out with me today on Locked On Flames. Make sure you are subscribed wherever you get your podcasts, as well as YouTube. So we knew that this year was obviously the final year of Adidas, the Adidas jerseys. I didn't see an issue with them. I don't think that anyone did, maybe the league or something, because there was a cheaper option available. And that would be Fanatics. Fanatics now has like a complete monopoly over the sports merchandising, I guess. Like, I remember when you could go on to Fanatics and get like a $25 jersey, and now it's like $45. And like, it's lost the charm, in my opinion, as a brand. This is the first year of a 10-year deal. This might actually be the worst contract other than Jonathan Huberdeau's. It might beat it out. The Flames didn't make any changes to their jersey. They did nothing, which is supposedly what Fanatics had asked teams to do. And, well, a few teams didn't listen. But I wanted to pull up the jersey here in case you have not seen it. If you're watching on YouTube, this is the home jersey for the Flames, and it's not any different. It looks a little bit cheaper. I think the Toronto Maple Leafs ones look a lot cheaper. It looks like the Flames jerseys, which I would hope so. But with this, apparently the jerseys are still going to be manufactured in the same manufacturer plant as the Adidas and Reebok ones in years prior. So I'm not entirely convinced you have to worry about like the game quality. I know we've seen kind of the MLB Fanatics jerseys, and they have been questionable. And that's that. And we have seen fans getting completely wrong jerseys or even hats, like any sort of merchandise, logos flipped upside down, wrong names. It'll be the right team, wrong player, or wrong player in the right team. Like, it's just a mess. And when you're spending your hard-earned money, especially in this economy, on goods and services, you expect it to be right. And you expect to get a high quality product. I bought my Blasty replica jersey on Fanatics. It's fine. But I have seen people on Twitter that have gotten just absolutely wrecked by the production. And I don't expect this to be perfect. I mean, nothing in life is, obviously. But I just feel like these Fanatics jerseys look a lot cheaper, and they look like ripoffs. And maybe I feel like with jerseys, you always get like a better or a better inclination. I don't know what the right word is. A more accurate representation of the jersey when they're actually on a player in proper lighting. These that we were shown today were under studio lighting with a mannequin. So it's very much like when they release any sort of jersey in the NHL, whether it's specialty jerseys or, like, I think of the Heritage Classic jerseys and how not great they looked, and then they looked a lot better not in an advertisement. So maybe we will get lucky. I don't have high hopes. There is literally an account that has like Fanatics mess ups and is just dedicated to that. So I don't have an overwhelmingly positive feeling here. But, you know, I think I don't think the difference between the quality between, Adidas and Fanatics in-game jerseys will be too different. I'm very interested to see how these nameplates and numbers look, because if you've seen some of the MLB ones, it's literally like an arch with super small font, and like instead of just straight across, and like it looks very odd. And it would look less odd if I'd say if the sizing was right. So I hope, like, not to sound like an NHL purist, because, like, to be quite honest, I don't really think of myself as that, and I don't think my takes really result that, but I don't want to see too many changes with this. I want the good quality that you see with the Adidas jerseys, whether they're the authentic ones that you buy as a fan or the in-game jerseys. And I don't know if Fanatics is truly capable of keeping up with demand, because I just don't have high hopes. And I'm glad. I like the Flames jerseys. I think they're very pretty and very neat. They're very clean. But it's hard to mess that up. So, like, if you look at the Maple Leafs, that one truly looks like it is like Walmart, like off-brand, great value. And maybe that's just my Leaf hating heart blinding me, but I didn't think it looked good in the promotional video at all. So we're going to have to wait and see how these things turn out. They have 10 years to prove me wrong, which is a very long time. And they also have 10 years to prove me right, which is a lot of mistakes for paying customers. So we will have to keep an eye out on that and see how things look in the preseason. And the preseason, it's really not that far away. It's basically July. Camp starts in August. We got one full month, really, of the off season left. And we still have free agency and the draft to get through. And I will be here for you through it all. That will do it for me today on Locked On Flames. Thank you all so much for making the show part of your day. You can find the show wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. We're here for you Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, your team every day. You can follow me over on Instagram at Locked On Flames, and of course, my personal Twitter account at Jess Belmosto. Tomorrow, we're just going to keep talking about, whatever off-season happenings come next for the Flames, because the clock is ticking and they still haven't re-signed Oliver Shillington. But until tomorrow, stay safe, stay warm, stay dry, stay hydrated, and remember to subscribe and be kind to yourself.